Hi sir, today I'm going through my Prog Part 2 for module code Prog6221. Student number ST104 39147. So I've already gone through in part 1 program CS, ASCII, responses, greetings, communication, and type effect. So today I want to start off with the sentiment class. So over here I'm just initializing new lists and dictionaries, right? At the start of the initialization, and then once I get to the constructor, I'm ending off the initialization with the values that are stored in the lists. Over here is essentially what's happening is I finished off the initialization of the dictionary, and over here is for each list it's searching for different this actually allows for quick access to the sentiment of a word without needing to search through lists. This actually improves the performance when analyzing the user input by reducing the time complexity of lookups. So essentially what this is doing is it's going through the different words. It's looking for the different words so it can have a response. Over here I'm analyzing the sentiment. This just checks if it's null or white space. Over here I am checking for specific phrases, multi-word phrases for the word frustrated. So when the user says it's not working, it can pick up frustrated, that sentiment. Over here I created a new dictionary. This method counts how many words from the sentiment list appear in the input string. It uses regular expressions to split the input into words and checks each word against the sentiment dictionary. Over here, the regular expressions, I created a string array called words, and it's splitting. It's splitting the words, so now it's looking for basically the basic input, but it's also now looking for things such as at, hashtag, different things that are not words, and now it's splitting it up so it actually gets the actual words instead of the symbols. Over here I am iterating through each word and count the sentiment occurrences. This loop actually checks, the for each loop actually checks the word against the sentiment dictionary. So if the word is found in the dictionary, it will increment for that sentiment. This actually allows for quicker access to the sentiment of a word without needing to search through the whole list. this over here is find sentiment with the highest count and return, yeah. So essentially it's looking for the highest count and it's gonna display it. If the max sentiment value is 0, then it's going to actually display neutral, but for this one it handles ties by priority. Negative emotions are first and then positive, right? And it's putting it to the list. If the tied sentiments are equal to 1, then it will return a single sentiment if there is no tie. Over here is the array called, a string array called priority order. I am ordering the different ties. So frustrated is first, anxious, so it depends on the sentiments, the ties to the sentiment. Over here I'm putting it in a loop, so now it's checking for the sentiment in the priority order. Let's say if it checks if the sentiment is in tied sentiment, this checks if the sentiment is one of the tied sentiments. If it is, it will return that sentiment. If not, neutral. And again, as the catch statement to the try catch is neutral. What this is doing over here is it's a boolean. So now it's wanting to say true or false, essentially. But if it is true, if it does contain a phrase, yeah, it checks if it's true or false. It checks if there is if the string does contain a specific phrase. This method private, can only be accessed within the class. Count word occurrences. If the string is wide, basically empty, wordless is null, wordless count is 0, then we'll return 0 because the list is empty. Over here I initialized the count to 0, and I created once again a string called words, and it's doing basically the exact same thing as it did in the previous method. Here again it's going through each word in the word list and it's checking if string is null or white space, right? And if that's, yeah, string lowered word lower, I can increase the count, otherwise count will 0, but if not, the new count, that would be the new count over there, so it's counting, yeah. this is for get sentiment description. Again, it's checking if it's empty or not. I use the switch case. Statement, the sentiment to lower. Yeah, I'm just getting the sentiment. And if it is positive and negative, all of that, it's giving the description that, let's say, positive, the user appears to have a positive attitude. Let's say confused, the user appears to have been confused or needs clarification. So that is the definition, so it will be defined. Over here, public double is get confidence score. So this is a double, as you can see. This is checking if, again, input is null, and if it is null, it's 0.0. It's a try catch to handle try catch block to handle any exceptions. String the dot lower. I'm basically, again, I'm doing what I did upstairs in the early method. I'm not going to explain it again. And essentially this again did explain that. The total words, I'm getting the total word length. This I'm counting the number of sentiment words in the input. This is done by checking through each word against the sentiment dictionary. If the total words is 0, then it will return 0.0. So this is the base confidence. So what this is basically doing is it's checking the base confidence on percentage of sentiment words. So the amount of it's getting the count, the word count, and the total words, and it's basically seeing the percentage of what it's getting. But if total words again is equal to 0, then it's going to be returned to 0.0. Oh, I was already there. What this is doing is it's finding, I'm using math, and this is min, so this is the minimum. I'm finding the minimum of all of this. So this is me applying scaling for higher confidence for sentiment words. Else return 0.0. So now moving on to user memory. I don't need to explain this again. I am initializing it. Initializing all the different lists, queues, and dictionary. Over here is a special class that I put in. It's called topic data. So now, essentially what this is doing is discussion count of each topic, the positive interactions, questions asked, last discussion, total time spent, and topic start time. Basically what it's doing is it's going to help to see what's the person's favorite topic. Here in the constructor, of user memory, initialization, the finishing of initialization, storing user info. Basically, string is now key. What this is entirely doing, it's looking for user information as in the thing. Let's say, yeah. Or the storing of user information. This over here is actually getting the user information with exception handling, all of that. This is getting the information from the user, not necessarily from the user entering it, but it's getting the information from the user without the user having to actually type anything. What this is doing is I'm adding a discussion topic, right? So normalized topic, topic dot trim. I'm trimming it. It's getting, it's what you call it. It's getting the topic. Let's say it's the user enters a topic. It takes and trims and puts everything to lowercase. It's looking fine. Over here, it's getting. Let's just say this entire method is getting the topic from the user. So when the user asks the question, it's looking for a certain key phrase. Let's say it's fishing or farming. Now this entire thing has just tracked farming. Farming is there. See, discuss topics. Essentially what this is, discuss topics. Yeah. Now it's gonna, yeah, it's counting it. Yeah, this line right here, it says it will insert at the beginning to keep the most recent first, but max topics, it's 20. The user won't necessarily talk more than 20 topics, so yeah. But if it is more than 20 topics, then remove the oldest one, so essentially the first topic. If the user's last topic, yeah. Over years, I'm tracking the topic engagement. So through different, let's say I want more information about it, I'm getting more there. It's tracking that. And over here, for the track, this is essentially what this method is. So the topic data is getting the key of the topic, underscore engagement topic, new topic data. So it's getting the time that was used to discuss about the topic. Over here, this is recording when a user asks a certain question about a specific topic. It records it from here now. Again, it's just recording all of this and try catch for exception handling. What this is doing, it's recording the positive interactions with a topic, so the user will show interest about it, ask for follow-ups, ask for more information. Yeah, and it is essentially doing, wouldn't necessarily say the same, but let's say the user will increment once it sees more positive interactions, and it is tracking it and storing the information. The record topic time spent, let's say it will record the time spent on each topic. So this is topic data, the total time spent, time spent. So this is basically adding the time spent. It's checking essentially if the normalized key, if it contains a normalized key, it will fulfill these. The new variable topic data will check the engagement of that. Then your time spent, check the time now to compare to what the start time, and it will tell you how long you spent on it. Over here, we're getting the favorite topic, right? So I created a new dictionary to store the favorite topic based on based on how many times I spoke about each topic. So now what it's doing is it's gonna filter it out. So now over here it's calculating and seeing what topic was used more. Sorry about that. Family just likes to talk loudly. What is this method again? The get favorite topic, yes. So now it's checking the time. Wait, sorry. Over here is checking the amount, like the weight of how much the person spoke or asked questions about the topic. What this is it's getting all the, since let's say the last day of the discussion, and it also gets the most recent day or the amount of days. So now it's getting how many times you actually speak about the topic throughout how many days, or through how, for how long, throughout multiple sessions, and it will display your favorite topic, and it will store your favorite topic. Over here, yeah, this is getting the amount spent, the time spent, and this will get the score saying what your favorite topic was. And this is the ordering of it. So now you're getting the order to say what's your favorite topic, and to what's your least favorite topic. But fallback, this will just show the get the most discussed topic, which is over here. The most discussed topic is getting topic engagement. Let's say if topic engagement is equal to 0, then return null. But let's say try catch for error handling. Return topic engagement dot ordered by descending. X equals the value. It's getting the most discussed topic, essentially what it is doing. Over here is getting the top favorite topics. Create a new dictionary for each loop, so it will iterate until it is as giving you the topics that you like the most. This will see how, if not seen your, if you can't necessarily see your favorite topic, let's say you have a strong interest about it. So let's say you say 3 times, but it's not your favorite topic. It will store that you have quite a strong interest in it. This is checking if the topic has been discussed already. Yeah. Or storing, sorry, this is storing the discussed topic. This is getting the discussed topic. This is recording the sentiment. So the normalized sentiment, yeah, this is, and you're queuing it, right? So now you're putting it in a queue while sentiment is at max length, it will dequeue, so now it will leave the queue. So get the most dominant sentiment, right? So what this is doing is it's getting the thing that you use the most. Let's say confused. Oh, we got this again. Now it's looking for the most confused. How many times you use the word? How many times you classified? They classified it. So let's say I don't understand, confused or frustrated. It would essentially be that. This is getting the most recent sentiment. This is clearing user data. This is getting the summary of all the different things. Let's say summary through a dictionary. So let's say summary of topics discussed count. That will be stored in a dictionary. Dominant sentiment, stored in a dictionary. All of that will be stored in a dictionary. But if the discussed topics count is bigger than 0, summary is the most recent topic. Yeah. Now, moving on to enhanced responses. I'm not going to go through each and every method because this is quite long. Please bear with me, sir. So this is I'm using an enhanced version of inheriting the responses class to make it better. So this is using object-oriented programming and inheritance. I'm initializing all things that are going to be used within this class. Over here, the constructor, this base calls the base method calls the base class constructor. So yeah, this is the constructor. Now it's checking for, not checking, but now I'm again initializing all things done. This is efficient, finishing the initialization for different keys. And the same thing here. So let's say topic definition. Yeah, that's the topic definitions. Support the phrases like "you're asking great questions." That's how you stay secure. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. It's going to take too long. Yeah. Let me go down a bit. It will take quite some time. It's initialized sentiment, right? So it sees acknowledgement. I'm glad that you're enthusiastic about this. Through positive, anxious, and the different sentiments. And that's going to be too long to go through. This is the greeting responses, topic transitions. So let's say the user says thanks. It goes, or not necessarily thanks, but let's say the chatbot doesn't quite understand. He said, speaking of phishing, or wants to, let's say the chatbot wants to add a bit more, to make it more, to clarify a bit more. It says, speaking of farming is actually a cyber attack that redirects legitimate websites, or speaking of phishing, things like that. Over here is initialization of the follow-up questions. Over here is a check if user needs help. Yeah, no, this provide contextual help. Yeah, this is providing help for the user if they are confused and need a little bit more guidance through the topic. here I'm checking the conversation flow. I'm checking the length of the conversation. I'm incrementing it already. Let's say if it is more than 10 and is not user needs a break. Don't you? We've covered a lot. Would you like to take a break? It's saying, mate, I think you need to take a break to settle in and understand the topics. And consecutive questions is fine. So again, you're asking a lot of great questions. Would you like me to summarize what we've discussed so far? And over here, providing the learning progress. So what you've learned so far, let's say if discussion count equals 0, then we're just getting started. Yeah, there's that. You just started, mate. If not, if that does not come into play, it will say progress. Great job. We've covered all the discussed topics. And then give me encouragement phrases that are randomized. The adjustment response for sentiment. So over here it's getting this is essentially saying you only have to apply adjustments if we haven't applied them already. What this is doing is getting the username, storing the person's name into get user info. It's also getting the favorite topic. The favorite is returning user, has strong interest. So I said, let me just, sorry about that, sir. I just needed to plug my computer in. This is checking if it is a returning user. Get to discuss topics, right? Say not has strong interest. If doesn't have a favorite topic, just it looks for the strong interest in and will look for its favorite topic. Supportive response. Yep, just supportive responses. Essentially, it's looking to adjust the different responses based on the sentiment. So if it's positive, it's going to respond in this way. If it's bad, it's going to respond in that way. If you're frustrated, it's going to respond in that way, but it's going to give a base response. Personalized prefix. Personalized prefix is basically username, in a conversational context. Over here we're bolding the personalized prefix, right? Putting it in the list. prefix parts name. So part of the prefix would be the name. Yeah. Over here it's getting it's looking at the different sentiments and it's adjusting its responses, but returns if returns the prefix count is bigger than 0, it will string the join prefix. Yeah. Apply adjustments. Yeah, this is the actual implementation of all of that. This over here is the modifying of the response. So let's just say if it contains it is important, you should. The key thing is to remember. Should, I'd recommend, you know. So it's trying to change all the, let's say this is under confused, right? So it's looking for different ways to actually perform it. And the same goes with positive, anxious, frustrated. Also just return response. Over here it's getting the simplified. So as simple as it can get. It doesn't want more. It wants to make it easier to read. That's what it is. Over here it's getting it, it's retrieving, it's actually seeing. Are we continuing as the topic? But instead of repeating it, let's get a random one. Let's get a random response to that topic. And over here is like, oh, topic just switched. Let's also get another random one so it changes constantly instead of giving the same thing over and over again. This is getting the additional info for topics. So if the user wants additional info, it will return the topic, but it will return empty if string it will return an empty string if no additional info available for the topic. Over here we're getting the sentiment follow-up. Over here it's a method called get natural follow-up. Doesn't to get it more flowing instead of sounding like a bot as much. But yeah, it's the base questions equals. It's getting the follow-up questions from the base questions, getting it from of the certain topic, follow-up questions of the certain topic. And over here is the question is we're randomizing it. Now we're randomizing it of the base questions, randoming, and now he's going. It's calling a new string follow-up, doing a do while loop. make the follow-up more natural based. Yeah, it's basically it's trying to make the sentiments quite nice and all the responses there. And these are the what you call it, the lists of each of the sentiments for what's needed in that previous method. Over here we're getting we again randomizing it so it's not repeated so many times, especially so many times at the same, like consecutively. These are the follow-up questions to make it sound more, to make it look and feel more engaging for the user. Say if the natural follow-ups contain the sentiment, let's say frustrated, you can randomize it, right? Let's say frustrated is going to randomize between these three, so it's not going to specifically always pick the one. Okay, generic follow-up. Yeah, that's just you're getting your generic follow-up questions. Now get response. We're overriding this from the responses class, so we could use it again. And yeah, over here I'm tracking the conversation pattern and update recent topics, right? It's going to be further down the line in the method, but the time span the time since the last response time. It's checking the time span between the last responses. It's just checking if it's a new it's checking if it's a new conversation. It's checking if it's been over, let's say, 5 minutes. It's also checking the current time. If it's a new conversation, this will all be taken into account. If not, it will carry on within the method. Say string greeting, personalized greeting. Yeah, we are analyzing the sentiment. Extract user info. Extracting the user's info. The base response. So I'm getting the base response, so it's gonna essentially be a natural, the basic response. But let's say if base response, if it is not equal to I don't understand that, then it's basically following up, trying to detect the topic, seeing all the sentiments, just trying to store it into the user interface. Yeah. Over here is, yeah, we can need the sentiment adjustments to what you call it, adjust to the sentiment, and giving responses and all of that. So that class alone is basically implementing everything for all the responses. this is tracking the conversational patterns. If yeah, and it's incrementing it if it is there. So yeah, it's just tracking it. But if it can't track it, then it's going to return 0. So it's not going to be consecutive. This is checking for the personalized greeting. Again, personalized greeting. Get the gating of the personalized greeting. What this is doing is, let's say you have been using this already, and let's say it's saying, oh hi Mike, welcome back, do you want to go through fishing again? This is essentially what it's going through, or it's going through your either favorite topic or topics discussed, or something that you've been interested in. You see, this is for the returning user, and if you're not a returning user, then that's get a basic hello, nice to meet you. Yeah, get personalized for a while. You are getting, when you say goodbye or something like that, and you get a personalized, oh goodbye, take care. Yeah, enhance with natural follow-up. Let's say it's getting a yes or no, and it's going to follow up on it to make it more natural in responding. Yes. Over years, it will look for this method will look for common question words and punctuation to determine if the input is a question. Let's say if user answer is yes, let's say case fishing, great. Or yeah, so let's say it's yes, you're gonna carry on. If no, it's a no problem. What else would you like to talk about? So, what this method is doing is we're handling unrecognized input naturally. Again, it's using sentiments. Yeah. Again, extracting the user info. Over here, we're detecting the topic, right? So what we're using a dictionary, and now it's looking for the different names for each thing. So phishing could be fake email, scam. Malware could be virus. Yeah, could be those. And it will iterate through each, looking for which one. As I saying, crypto locker for ransomware. now it's going to go in ransomware, and it's going to look at all of these things. It's going to specifically look for that now. Over here is like, it's looking, is it a question? Let's say what, how, why. It's looking for the certain words. Over here we're generating the contextual response. Let's say if okay, first we're getting the favorite topic from user memory. Let's say if every topic is now, I notice you, and we'll respond with, I notice you're particularly interested in favorite topic. So that's if it's not now, right? Otherwise, hence prompt for the user to for a specific topic. I specialize in these topics. What would you like to talk about? Otherwise, default response.